In this video, we'll look at equations with fractions, and instead of solving the equation with using adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing fractions, we're going to look at a way of clearing the fraction. How to get rid of fraction? We need to find the least common denominator, multiply all the terms by the least common denominator, and then simplify the fraction. After we follow these three steps, the fractions will be gone. Let's see how that happens. In the fraction, we have numerators and denominators. And if the denominator is not there, just like x was without the denominator, then we put it over 1. Minus 3/7 and equals 2/7. Now we have the denominators 1, 7, and 7. To find the least common denominator, we need to find a number that all the denominators 1, 7, and 7 go into. Here we have the 7 already in common, but if I multiply 1 times 7, it will be 7 as well. So common denominator in this situation is 7. What to do next is multiply all the terms by the least common denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 7 both sides of the equation. On the left side, we have 7 multiplied by x over 1 and by 3/7. On the right side, we have 7 multiplied by 2 over 7. So distributive property on the left, and then multiplying by 7 on the right. So 7 times x over the same denominator 1. Denominator doesn't change, we only multiply the numerators. 7 times 3 divided by the same denominator 7, and here multiply the numerator again. 7 times 2, or 2 times 7. Keep the denominator 7. So we keep the same denominators, and what we do is we multiply by the numerators. Then simplify the fraction. So third step, simplifying fractions, will clear our denominators. So we have 7x divided by 1, which is 7x. No more fraction. Minus 7 times 3 is 21. 21 divided by 7 is 3. So fraction is gone. 7 times 3, 21, divided by 7, 3. Or we can simplify 7 and 7, and that would be still 3 equals. We can simplify 7 divided by 7, and that will equal 2. Or we can do the multiplication and then divide. 2 times 7 is 14. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Fractions are cleared. So we can solve this equation now without fractions. Inverse operations would be add 3 and divide by 7. But in this video, we're not solving. The focus is clearing the fractions, or clearing the denominators. So let's look at the next example. 2x, we put over 1 to create the denominator, then minus 4/5, denominator 5, and 2/15 is on the right side. So common denominator 1, 5, and 15, all three go into 15. 1 times 15 will be 15. 3 times 5 will be 15, and 15 times 1 will be 15. So 15 is a common denominator. After step 2 is to multiply all the terms by the least common denominator. So that means if I multiply by 15 on both sides of the equation, and then here we distribute, multiplying by 15, so we have 2 times 15x over the same denominator so far, 1, keep it, minus 15 times 4, or 4 times 15 over 5 equals 2 times 15 over 15. So we keep the denominators, multiply the numerators. Then we simplify. So step 3, simplifying each fraction, will clear out the denominators. 2 times 15 is 30. 30 divided by 1 is still 30, 30x. 4 times 15 divided by 5. Here we can multiply 4 times 15, that would be 60. 60 divided by 5 is 12. Or we can simplify 15 and 5 by dividing by 5, and that would be 3 times 4, which is 12. Either way. So 4 times 15 was 60. 60 divided by 5 is 12. Whole number, no more fraction. Same idea here. We can simplify the 15 and 15, and the answer would be 2. Or we can multiply and then divide. 2 times 15 is 30. 30 divided by 15 is 2. Either way. Fractions are cleared. From there, we can solve by adding the 12 and then dividing the 30. Next example. All the terms are in fraction form. They have denominators 2, 6, 2, and 3. Common denominator will be 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. So the 6 is the common number. Both sides of the equation, we multiply by 6. And then when we distribute, we multiply the numerators. And that will be our step 2. Multiply all the terms by the least common denominator, which is 6. 6 times n, so we multiply the numerators, keep the denominator. 4 times 6 with the n, keep the denominator. 6 times 1 over 2 minus 6 times n over 3. So the denominators we keep, we multiply all the numerators by 6. 6n, 4 times 6 and n, 1 times 6 over 2, and then 6 times n over 3. Step 3, simplifying fractions, multiplying and dividing. 6 divided by 2 is 3n. 24 divided by 6, or we can simplify 6 and 6. Either way is plus 4n. 1 times 6, 6, and divided by 2, 3. And then 6n divided by 3 is 2n. Fractions are gone. The equation has whole numbers only. From there, we can combine the like terms and use inverse operations to solve. Let's look at the next example. 1x over 5, y over 1, 3y over 2, and 3 over 1. First, we want to create an equation that has numerators and denominators. Then 5, 1, 2, and 1 have in common the number 10. They can all be going into 10, or 10 can be divided by 5, and by 1, and by 2, and by 1. So multiplying all the terms by 10 will clear our fractions. 10 times 1, x over 5, minus 10 times y over 1, 3 times 10 y over 2, and 3 times 10 over 1. Denominators stay, numerators we multiply. Simplifying clears out the denominators. So 10 times 1 is 10, divided by 5 is 2. That will be 2x, minus 10 divided by 1 is 10. 10 times 3, 30, and then divided by 2, 15. And then 3 times 10, 30, divided by 1, still 30. This fraction are gone. Equation has 2 variables, so it cannot be solved. But the goal for today, again, is clearing out the fractions. 3/4 has numerator denominator. C we put over 1, 1/2, and then 2c over 1. Each term will have now denominators. 4, 1, 2, 1, all numbers go into 4. So we're going to multiply by 4 both sides of the equation. 4 distribute means multiply. Multiply numerators, keep the denominator for the distribution. So 4 times 3, keep the denominator, minus 4 times c over 1 equals 4 times 1 over 2 plus 4 times 2, or 2 times 4, c over 1. Denominators we keep, multiply the numerators. Then simplify the fractions. So 4 times 3, that will be 12, divided by 4 is 3, or you can simplify 4 and 4, either way is 3. Minus 4c over 1, 4 divided by 1 is still 4. 4 times 1 is 4 divided by 2, 2. 2 times 4 is 8 divided by 1, still 8. Fractions are gone. The equation can be solved from here on without fractions. Put the 5 over 1. Here we put the 3y over 1. Common denominator. In this one, we have 3, 1, and 3. That will be 3, so multiply both sides of the equation by 3 and distribute. On this side, we have 4, 3, and 1. Common denominator would be 12. Multiply both sides of the equation by 12. On the first step, we multiply the numerators, keep the denominators, then simplify each fraction, and it should clear out all the denominators. So create two equations without fractions by finding the common denominator, multiplying both sides of the equation by common denominator, and simplifying the fractions. See what you get? Give it a try.